Blood soaked the earth as flames devoured everything she had ever known. They thought they'd killed everyone. But one girl survived, and her survival would one day become their greatest nightmare. The axe crashed down, splitting the wooden shield in two. Nora watched in horror as her father fell to his knees. She was only 12, hiding behind the stone wall as strangers in wolfskin cloaks burned her village to the ground. "Kill them all," shouted the enemy chief, his face painted with blue symbols. "Leave no one to tell the story." Britain in the year 450 was a land of tribes, a land where power meant survival. Nora's tribe, the Iceni, had lived peacefully in their valley for generations. They farmed, they traded, they celebrated under the stars. Until that blood-red morning when the wolf tribe came. Nora's father was the village leader, a wise man respected by all. When the wolves howled at their borders, he had tried to talk peace. In return, they offered death. Smoke filled Nora's lungs as she crouched behind the wall. Through a crack in the stones, she watched her mother run toward her fallen father. The wolf chief's sword flashed in the morning light. Her mother didn't even scream. The wolf chief, a giant of a man named Brennan, walked among the dead. "Take the grain, take the animals," he ordered his warriors. "Burn the rest." A warrior called out, "What about survivors?" Brennan laughed, a sound like stones grinding together. "There are no survivors." But he was wrong. When night fell, Nora crawled from her hiding place into a world of ash and death. "I promise," she whispered beside her parents' bodies. "I promise I'll make them pay." Then a sound made her freeze. Footsteps. An old woman limped from the shadows. Etta, the village healer. Her arm hung useless at her side, but her eyes burned with fire. "Child," Etta whispered, "we must leave this place." "But my parents are beyond our help." "But you live, and while you live, hope lives." "Where will we go?" Nora asked. "North, to my sister in the mountains. There, you will learn everything you need for revenge." Nora took one last look at her burning home. Then she followed Etta into the darkness, not knowing this night marked the beginning of a journey that would change the fate of all Britain. 7 days later, they reached a hidden fortress nestled in a mountain valley. Wooden walls surrounded stone houses, with people training with weapons and tending gardens. "The wolf tribe doesn't know about this place?" Nora asked. Etta smiled. "Few outsiders do. These are the shadow folk, those who refuse to bow to stronger tribes." A tall woman with silver-streaked hair and facial scars stepped forward. Rowena, Etta's sister and leader of the shadow folk. When told what happened, Rowena's gaze fell on Nora. "Why have you come here?" Before Etta could answer, Nora spoke. "To learn how to kill wolves." "First, you must learn how to live," Rowena answered. "Revenge taken in haste is revenge denied." That night, as Nora slept, Rowena and Etta spoke by the fire. "The child has fire in her heart," Rowena said. "Fire that will consume her if not controlled," Etta agreed. "But she may be the one the old prophecy spoke of, the one who unites the tribes." The seasons changed. Winter came and went. Then another, and another. Nora grew from a frightened girl into a focused young woman. She learned to hunt, to track, to fight with sword and spear. From Etta, she learned healing arts and ancient wisdom. But more importantly, she learned strategy, patience, the art of waiting for the perfect moment to strike. By her 18th year, Nora could outfight any warrior in the settlement and outwit any challenger in the council circle. Her reputation spread through the hidden network of tribes that resisted wolf tribe control. The Shadow Maiden. They called her, a ghost who appeared from nowhere to help villages defend against raiders, only to vanish again. On her 20th birthday, Nora stood atop the mountain lookout, gazing south toward where her village once stood. "You're thinking of them again," Rowena said, joining her. "Every day," Nora admitted. "Is it still revenge you want?" "Not just revenge. Justice. And something more, an end to all this suffering. Why must tribes fight tribes while the Romans watch from their walls?" "What would you do differently?" "Unite them," Nora said simply. "Not through fear like Brennan, but through strength and wisdom." That night, messengers were sent to other resistance groups. Months passed as Nora built her alliance. Former enemies united under her banner, drawn by her vision of a land where tribes worked together instead of slaughtering each other. But even as her power grew, so did the wolf tribes. Reports came of new atrocities and rumors that Brennan had made deals with Saxon invaders from across the sea. Then came the news that changed everything. A scout arrived at the fortress with grim news. Edda had been captured while healing wounded in a southern village. Is she alive? Nora demanded. Yes, but Brennan plans to execute her at the full moon. A sacrifice to show his power. How long do we have? 3 days. Prepare the warriors, Nora commanded. We march at dawn. Rowena placed a hand on her shoulder. It could be a trap. Of course it's a trap, Nora said. But sometimes, to catch a wolf, you must enter its den. The morning mist clung to the forest floor as Nora led 200 fighters through the narrow valley. Above them, scouts moved through the trees, watching for wolf tribe patrols. Remember, Nora whispered to her captains, our strength isn't in numbers, but in surprise. Her plan was simple. While the main force created a distraction, Nora would lead a small team to rescue Edda and other prisoners. They reached the wolf tribe settlement, once a small village, now a fortress with banners bearing wolf heads fluttering from watchtowers. More guards than usual, muttered Kel, one of Nora's trusted fighters. They're expecting trouble. Good, Nora replied. Let's give them what they expect. When the attack began on the western wall, Nora led 20 warriors under the eastern wall through a stream bed. Inside, they moved quickly toward the central hall where prisoners were kept. They found Edda among the captives and rushed to free her. You shouldn't have come, the old woman rasped. It's a trap. He knew you'd come. He's not even here. The doors crashed open as warriors flooded in from hidden side doors. Waiting for you elsewhere, Edda finished. A tall woman stepped forward, her face marked with the same blue symbols as the wolf tribe warriors. So this is the famous Shadow Maiden, she said. I expected someone taller. Where is Brennan? Nora demanded. My husband is paying a visit to your mountain fortress, the woman replied with a cruel smile. With most of your warriors here, it should be an easy conquest. Cold horror washed over Nora, Rowena, and the others. They were defenseless. I am more one, the woman continued, and you are now my prisoner. Surrounded and outnumbered, Nora ordered her people to surrender. They were dragged to a wooden cage in the center of the village. I failed them, Nora whispered, thinking of those at the mountain fortress. No, Edda said firmly. This is just one battle. While you live, hope lives. Remember? As night fell and the wolf tribe celebrated, Nora gathered her captured warriors and whispered a desperate plan. Hours later, when guards came to check on them, they enacted their escape. They reclaimed their weapons, freed the remaining prisoners, and prepared to warn the fortress. We need to warn the fortress, Nora told Kel. Take half our people and go. The rest will come with me to find Brennan. As they prepared to leave, Morwen appeared with a dozen warriors. Did you really think escape would be so easy? She snarled. The two women fought fiercely. Nora moved like water around Morwen's powerful but slow strikes. The fight ended with Morwen on her knees. Nora's sword at her throat. Kill me and be done with it, Morwen spat. No, Nora said. You're coming with us. As our prisoner. They rode hard through the night. Dawn was breaking when they spotted smoke rising from the mountain fortress. The battle had already begun. Wolf tribe warriors swarmed around the fortress walls. Parts of the wooden defenses were already burning. And there, directing the attack from horseback, was Brennan, the man who had haunted her nightmares for 8 years. There he is, Nora said. She raised her sword high. For the fallen. For the future. And they charged down the mountainside toward destiny. Brennan's warriors were caught completely by surprise. They had expected to face only the weakened defenders, not a fresh attack from behind. Brennan, Nora's voice cut through the chaos. Face me. The wolf chief turned and charged to meet her, his massive war axe swinging. Their weapons met with a sound like thunder. I remember you, Brennan growled as they circled each other. The little girl hiding behind the wall. I should have made sure you were dead. Yes, Nora agreed coldly. You should have. They clashed again, trading blows that would have killed lesser fighters. Brennan's strength was fearsome, but Nora was faster, more agile. Around them, seeing allies arriving, the fortress defenders surged outward with renewed hope. The wolf tribe warriors found themselves caught between two forces. Brennan's axe caught Nora's shield, splintering it and sending her sprawling from her horse. The wolf chief leaped down to finish her. No more running, Girl, he snarled. Nora rolled to her feet. I'm not running. Not anymore. They fought hand to hand, their weapons clashing in a deadly dance. Why fight so hard? Brennan panted. Your village is gone. Your parents are bones in the dirt. This isn't just for them anymore, Nora replied. It's for every village you've destroyed, every life you've taken. And what would you do differently? Tribes respect only strength and fear. You're wrong, and I'll prove it. She feinted left, then struck right, a move Rowena had taught her years ago. Brennan fell for it, his axe swinging wide. In that moment of imbalance, Nora's sword found its mark. The wolf chief's eyes widened in shock. Impossible, he whispered. No, Nora said. Inevitable. Brennan fell face forward into the dirt. Seeing their leader fall, the wolf tribe warriors began to retreat or surrender. Nora raised her sword. The wolf chief is dead. The fight is over. From the fortress gates emerged Rowena, wounded but alive. Behind her came Morwen, who had been brought by Nora's warriors. The wolf chief's wife looked at her husband's body, then at Nora. Finish it then, Morwen said bitterly. Kill me too. Take your revenge. All eyes turned to Nora. This was the moment she had dreamed of for 8 years. Complete victory, her enemies at her mercy. She lowered her sword. No more killing, Nora declared. No more revenge. This ends today. Listen to me, she called out to everyone gathered. For too long, our tribes have fought each other while greater threats gather. Romans to the south, Saxons from across the sea. We destroy ourselves while they grow stronger. She turned to Morwen. Your husband ruled through fear. I offer a different path, one where tribes stand united. Equal voices, shared strength. Why should we follow you? Called one of the wolf tribe warriors. Because she beat Brennan in fair combat, shouted Kel. By your own laws, his strength is now hers. And because she spared those she could have killed, added Rowena, showing wisdom greater than mere strength. Nora drove her bloodied sword into the earth. The old ways end here. The new begins now. One by one, warriors from both sides placed their weapons on the ground. Finally, Morwen herself stepped forward and laid her blade atop the growing pile. What would you have us call you? Morwen asked. Queen. I am Nora of the Circle. First among equals, not master above all. But the name didn't matter. As word spread through the tribes, the story grew with each telling. How a girl left for dead had returned as a warrior, defeated the mighty wolf tribe not just with strength, but with wisdom, and offered unity instead of vengeance. They called her Queen Nora the Just, Queen Nora the Merciful, Queen Nora the Uniters. Under her leadership, the circle of allied tribes grew. When Saxon raiders came the following spring, they found not scattered tribes, but a united people who drove them back to the sea. Years later, Edda, now ancient and frail, sat beside Nora overlooking their kingdom. Do you remember what I told you that night when we fled? The old woman asked. While you live, hope lives, Nora recited. Edda smiled. Look at what that hope has built. Below them stretched a peaceful kingdom. Farms and villages where children played without fear, where warriors trained not to fight each other, but to defend all their people as one. Was it worth it? Edda asked softly. The pain, the struggle, the years of waiting? Nora thought of her parents, of the promise made so long ago, not just for revenge, but for justice, for a better world. Yes, she answered. It was worth everything. As the sun set over her kingdom, Nora of the Circle, the queen who had once been left for dead, looked to the future she had built from the ashes of her past. And it was good.